This is the New Eden update for Friday, March 18th, 2016. I'm Wiggles, and here's a roundup of a few stories from around New Eden. First off today, we're starting some posts from CCP. Falcon at the head of the post, letting players know that there is currently a 50% discount on all frigate skins on the New Eden store. The offer runs to March 29th, and this links into a later post that comes up in a second. The next post is a dev post by CCP Claymore, letting people and players know that Citadels are not available on Singularity for testing. However, at right now, the time of recording, Singularity is currently, well, it was down, then it was in VIP, then it's, as always, it's a test server, so it could break. But as always, remember, it's a test server, so things could and maybe do break. So they may not fully be working, so there will be a link in the show notes, which is on the forums. Go give your feedback on there, how to test stuff. Well, how about testing stuff. And also said in CCP today, the hunt is on. It's time to raid Guristas facilities. The Valkyrie have intercepted communications amongst select groups of Guristas and taken down the tech responsible for hiding their latest operations. Scan and watch your overviews for the following locations: detention facilities lightly guarded in all areas of space, and transport facilities which are heavily guarded in low sec only. Now, this is to basically a nice Guristas event where you can get geckos and some other things, and there are some other bits that you can get from it, which I believe, if I remember, and I didn't actually write it down, but I'm going to look right now, there will be, where is it? Look up in the list. This is great prep. It was here somewhere. It does say it. The TEBS interfaces, TEBS interfaces, keep them and you can contract them. The top 20 collectors will have their name mentioned on a commemorative landmark. This is all to do with the Valkyrie launch event, which will be happening for the Oculus Rift launch event later on this month. Now onto the news sites for today, and the Mittani.com is the only one with some brand new posts so far, so we're going to have TMC posts. Our first is a story about a report on yesterday's mass test on Citadels. Quote, Citadels are one step closer to entering New Eden. CCP held a mass test on the Singularity server today and has announced a second round of retesting for Friday, which should be today, but it's not up right now. In today's test, players joined the fleet and will warp to a Citadel to test tethering, docking, and other aspects of the new structure. Quote, we were testing for bugs as usual and most likely the test weapon systems of the Citadel to make sure they have the stats okay. And we'll be making some changes on the intel based on the test. I think that was CCP Nullarbot on the Tweet Fleet Slack. One of the most impressive weapon systems were the flat cannon effects likes of the Point Defense Battery. Spaceships everywhere were taking damage from the Smart Bomb-esque area of effect style weapon, but the graphics made the scene look like a proper battle zone, with lasers and blasters firing everywhere in all directions. A la Battlestar Galactica a little bit, I think, maybe. At the end of the test, the Citadel was self-destructed by CCP Nullarbor. Unlike explosions of ships, this was an awe-inspiring and huge event. The reports that CCP reports that the effect is still being worked on. If you look closely, you can see the explosions made of several explosions and pours out like a fountain of fire before spewing massive chunks of debris everywhere. CSM members and third-party developer Steve Renukin has already added the Citadels to his blueprint calculator. Devlogs for the Citadels have an additional information on production. An interesting note, ships can jump into the tethering safe zone on the Citadel and immediately tether. This means, for now, jump freighters will still be able to jump to structures safely. Citadels are almost here and they look great. The next round of tests should be today, Friday, so treat yourself to a sneak peek on Singularity. Our other post to date is from thetiny.com as well, and is about the meta in EVE going to 11. EVE is a social experiment on top of an MMO, where actions and consequences are meaningful and players self-regulate. This was an idea formed on early by developers and was tested during the ascension of Miral, the CEO of Ubicasenf Corporation, sorry I butchered the names there, as depicted in several publications, and most famously by PC Gamer magazine in an article called Murder Incorporated. I remember that, I had the issue somewhere. After months of laying groundwork, the secret mercenary group took down a powerful corporation in a brutal and complete way. The betrayal and humiliation of the controversial CEO was the biggest heist to date, but the player community reaction was even more interesting in an actual event. The players wrote with disgust on the EVE forums demanding CCP take action against the brutal crime and violation of trust because it affected so many innocent court members. One of the many problems with joining any MMO is catching up. This is why interest is high in beta tests and populations soar when an MMO starts out. People want to get in on the ground floor, and even if they're unsure how long they will stick around with it. CCP EVE set apart by making the game non-grind with real life skills applicable. You could play it, you could play it on Macs, sort of. Well, rip some Mac clients. Also, it should be noted EVE was winning many MMO awards between 2006 and 2009 based on fan voting. Players were invested and loved their EVE. Has Metadeck killed the excitement of the game itself though? Have players done it and all just they hang around for the politics and bad posting? Some players sit on the sidelines waiting for something more of SOV and making it worth more again. The biggest misconception is that Null was ever worth it. Sovereignty wars were long, taxing campaigns that had people setting alarm clocks, grabbing coffee and fleeting up in the middle of the night. Drilling SOV mechanics made the progress slow. Systems were controlled by capturing the moons with a player-owned structure. Back then it took hours to put up towers, and by many mistake made it longer. Fuel consisted of separate ingredients that burned off at different rates, making management of towers a real spreadsheet work. Alliances had different types of players back then too. Fighters, logistic guys, builders, all working together as part of something greater than themselves. They had a purpose to get to the next level. Right now, NC. PL and Snuff and all others are pounding on the Imperium's SMA flank, hoping to build on the progress of I-Want-ISK's mercenary hirings. Their next level has always been breaking Goon Swarm, and this has rallied the troops. A purpose, a key to all gaming activity. When I think of my space job as something important, I want to remind myself that there are people in my own corp that don't have no idea that I work for them at Tiny.com, nor that they care once they knew. They don't read the news or Reddit or listen to podcasts or blogs, I put that in there, or they don't read the EVE forum. They do read the EVE forums. These guys represent the majority of EVE players, logging in to have fun and get to that next level. Maybe it's time to get back to expanding EVE and making it bigger and giving us another level of the game, because the meta players have already taken it to the last level and they're already at 11. Elsewhere in EVE-related content, it's kind of quiet on the podcast and blog front so far today, but I do expect a few new things out over the weekend due to the Singularity server updates with Citadels. Now on to Plex prices in the Forge region. They're registering some average traded prices today of 1,075,000,000 ISK so far today, which is down another 18 million from yesterday's closing average of 1,093,000,000. The top buy order in Jita right now is 1,048,000,000 ISK, and sell orders are starting at 1,049,000,000 ISK. Now it does seem that Plexes might be dropping to the sub 1 billion mark in the next few days. I'm sure Lockfox has had some things to say about that and will do on the Prosper Market Show. Skill Extractors are trading down at 252 million ISK, which is only 1 million down from yesterday's closing of 253, and buy orders for those are starting at 244 and sell orders are starting at 248. Skill Injectors on the other hand are trading up currently right now at 29 million ISK, which is up 11 million from yesterday's closing average of 618 million. Buy orders for those are starting at 628 and sell orders are starting at 641. Thank you to you and the person next to you if you support us on Patreon, because you know what, it helps us run the show, deal with costs and stuff like that. And if you don't, I understand that, because not everyone can afford to put monetary value into something. But if you do get some value from this show and want to give some back, patreon.com/wiggles. You know what, if everyone who's listening gives $1 a month, that would be brilliant, and I'd have everything covered and I could get guest hosts on and everything like that. And I know not everyone can, so tell 2 friends. Maybe they'll tell more, and so on, and so on. Tag them on social media. Do that. You can find out about all the ways to support the show at newedenupdate.com/support. And we do broadcast live to Twitch and YouTube, and we record it for a podcast because not everyone can watch live. So if you do have any feedback about that as well, please give us an email, which is feedback@newedenupdate.com, or you can leave a comment in the show blog, which is newedenupdate.com. You'll see each individual posts there. You can also send us a tweet if you're that way inclined at newedenupdate. I do encourage you to check out all the latest headlines, podcasts, blog posts, and all that other information you can find on TotalEve.com, which is our sister site. This has been your New Eden update for Friday, March 18th, 2016. I'm Wiggles, and we will be back on Monday, so thank you very much for listening.